Yes, I know it's the middle of August. Come on. 2018 is shaping up to be one of the best years for film we've ever seen. We've had high hitters from Avengers Infinity War, we've had the lower brow stuff, and we've even had a few duds like Patrick. Don't even get me started on that film. And yes, while we're only halfway through, that's just a mind-boggling thing to comprehend. We've had 7 months or so of fantastic films, and we're not even in award season yet. So naturally, it feels like the right time to go into list-based content. Usually I do this at the end of June, but launching this thing was a bit of a challenge, so I'm gonna have to do it now. So, here we go. It's time to sit back, compose ourselves, relax, and start looking back at what's already been a fantastic year. With all that in mind, this is The Journal, you're watching LeeJackSmith.com, and here are my top 10 films of the year so far. Now, before we go anywhere, some admin. Regular readers to the blog will know how my film of the year shortlist works, because these 10 films are probably going to make that list in December. So I'm going to run through the rules once again. If it came out in award season and won either an Oscar, a BAFTA or a Golden Globe, it's out. So Goodbye Lady Bird, Farewell Shape of Water and 3 Billboards, although you were an almighty film, you ain't getting anywhere on this list. Ultimately, the films that you're going to see here are what I feel are the 10 that I've enjoyed most over the course of 2018 so far, so enjoy.
We're down to 2 teams, so for double points, what is the name of the purple Teletubby?
Tinky Winky.
You're both correct.
He always carried
Coming in hot at number 10 is Game Night. Now, for a comedy film, this was one of the most unique things I've seen so far this year. It was able to take something which could have been dull, in all honesty, and it managed to add some, quite simply, fantastic action set pieces to it, and it delivered consistent laughs. I loved this film, and yes, I was late to the party. I've seen it really late in its cinema run.
Oh boy.
But it's one to look out for now it's out on DVD and Blu-ray. It is comedy done right.
Rabbits are generous, honest, pure, graceful creatures.
Our natural rabbit's pace should be able to keep up. Do you know what? That would never have worked.
Blue jacket, no pants. You must be Peter Rabbit.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, didn't you try to eat me? Show me your teeth. Do like a go, like.
At number 9 is Peter Rabbit. Now, before this film came out, I was sceptical. Sony had a real task to redeem themselves with their first release after the so-called masterpiece that was the Emoji Movie. Somehow, they managed to make it all worthwhile. It became a legendary film within a certain cinema, with comparisons being made to a few scenes from Dunkirk. I've got my friend Becca to quote for that line, and yeah, I've got a mixed view on this film being Dunkirk but with rabbits. But it did great business over Easter, so who can argue with that?
Good afternoon, Miss Ocean. As you know, parole is a privilege.
It's a mistake, but it happened. And if I were to be released, I would I would just want the simple life. I just want to hold down a job, make some friends.
So 8th place, well, I totally didn't put Ocean's 8 here just for the gimmick. It was a really enjoyable film, knowing the amount of press attention that it received. And also after the palaver surrounding the reviews for this film. It's not perfect, but as a piece of big screen entertainment, Gary Ross's take on the all-female Ocean's film did the job. And it had a good Rihanna performance at last. We've waited years for that. God, I don't think we'll ever forget Battleship in a hurry.
So, are we going to talk about it?
What?
The elephant in the room.
What elephant?
Mom's new job.
It's time to make some wrong things right. Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. we need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Better than me?
Coming in at 7th place is The Incredibles 2. Now, I know this is a list covering January to June, but give me some slack for 1 minute. This film did come out in America in June, and sure, it goes against the rules, but it's my list, I'm putting it on here. Oh, we waited 14 years for that film, and it certainly delivered, with Brad Bird coming back to write and direct, most of the cast coming back. A very good plot that kind of developed upon the first film and introduced audiences to the lore and the backstory of the family. It was one of the rarest Pixar sequels. It was able to do it perfectly, and sure, only the Toy Story films have been able to take a Pixar franchise that we know and love, develop it further and turn it into 2-3 films at best. But just this film, man, it's been a good year, right? It's been a very good year. It delivered more of what we wanted when the first film finished back in 2004. Yeah, we got to see him fight Underminer and all that sort of stuff. But it had morals, and the little short film that came on beforehand, that was pretty cute too.
Hey guys, how was the party? It was really fun.
Aces.
He's wearing a woman's sweater, and he's drunk.
Well, he didn't drive drunk, and he's home before curfew, so.
That's what I thought we thought.
Right?
Yeah, we're good parents.
Yeah, we're good.
Right?
At 6, it's Love, Simon. It's the first major Hollywood studio film to cover an LGBT relationship. I'm sure that's not why I'm putting it here on the list. It was a very solid film outside of that. Sure, it didn't play in cinemas for a while. My local only had it for a week. Yeah, a week. But there's a very good reason why my co-host on the university radio show that I did at the time labelled this as a masterpiece live on air, and I fully agree with Mr. Carver. He was spot on about this film. The way it handled that relationship was very rare, and it just did it justice. My one gripe, the composer reused a track from another film that he'd done a couple of years prior, but that's a minor bugbear for us.
You're not into Abby, are you? She's cute, but she's just not really my type. Not because she's black. I love black women. Not like, you know, I have a thing for black women. I just love all women.
A hidden key, a leap not taken. Retrace your steps, escape your past, and the key will be yours at last. What part of your past are you trying to escape, Halliday?
At 5, it's Ready Player One. Yeah, Ready Player One made the top 5.
Virtual universe.
It's a real geek film, but
Anything.
allow me to entertain you for 1 minute on why I think it should be in my top 5. I was one of the few who adored this film. Steven Spielberg is a director who is instantly qualified to take on anything relating to pop culture, as he practically created half of it. The fact we got to see the DeLorean back on the big screen, and as someone who cites Back to the Future as one of their favourite films, I was just stunned that we'd even get to see the day. He's a man ultimately qualified to create the biggest crossover event in cinema. Oh, hang on. Is that Marvel calling? Might have spoken a little too soon there. In all seriousness, the source material, the book in which Ernest Cline wrote, it has its issues. It's not written well, but they did a very sound job at adapting it to the big screen, and I'm forever grateful to Spielberg for that, because I am just a big geek who wants to see fan service done right, and you'll be seeing more fan service later on in the list. Mild spoiler.
You're telling me that the king of a third world country runs around in a bulletproof catsuit? Why don't you ask him yourself? Because he's right outside.
Just missing out on the top 3, it's Black Panther. Marvel are on a hell of a run recently, and now that they're getting true talented directors like Taika Waititi, Ryan Coogler, the Russo brothers exercise more creative freedom in the films that they're making. These films are starting to get a lot more unique and have a lot more character to them. Black Panther is quite indicative of that. Having a film that was originally set to be a so-called failure go on to make $1 billion at the box office. Just saying $1 billion must make Disney and Marvel happy now. They had the guts to pull the trigger on some quite big developments in this film, ultimately setting up what could be a very entertaining Phase 4. It is one of the best solo films they've made in quite a few years, and ultimately you lot enjoyed it, and that's what they're there for. They want to see you enjoy film.
The Japanese archipelago, 20 years in the future. Canine saturation has reached epidemic proportions. An outbreak of dog flu rips through the city of Megasaki. Mayor Kobayashi issues emergency orders, calling for a hasty quarantine. Trash Island becomes an exile colony. The Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs. Where do I begin on this film? Wes Anderson's a director that for many of us film fans is very well regarded, and sure, this isn't his finest work by any stretch of the imagination. Give me Grand Budapest Hotel any day. But this charming animated film, that totally isn't designed for children, really made a mark on me during its run in cinemas. The beautiful animation style, this incredible cast, and a story that only he could really come up with made it worth the hassle to see it on the mighty Screen 7, and for anyone who knows my local cinema, that's a very good screen to be in.
We getting close. You all know the drill. Intercept the convoy. Watch out for Cable. Hit it!
Yes, everyone's favourite self-referential dude just missed out on the top spot, but it was very difficult to pick the top two this year. It's been a great slate thus far. But what put Deadpool 2 here was a combination of a great script from Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, and arguably one of the greatest post-credit sequences ever created. Who the hell expected... Oh, hang on. Did Static cover that minor spoiler? Have we got Rogue Reception coming in from Plymouth? Either way, this was a fantastic film. I loved it, and I died. It passed the 6.5 test, and the super duper cut that's just been announced at Comic-Con. I am very excited to see that. And the 2018 LeeJacksmith.com midterm film of the year, it's Infinity War. Seriously, it's Avengers Infinity War. Good God, what a film!
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal. To wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
Yes, I get it. A superhero film tops the midterm top 10. Even I'm stunned. It's a big deal. The awards films haven't even hit yet. But my God, this was a cinematic feast. Seeing it really early doors, 9 AM for those of you who are interested, straight before a uni lecture, it didn't change my opinion at all. This is a solid piece of filmmaking from the Russo brothers. I went into this film expecting nothing, and I was blown away. It's a crowning achievement for Marvel. It is their best film.
Wow.
And I really hope Ant-Man and the Wasp, which, as I record this on July 24th, isn't out in the UK yet. Hopefully that can keep us in a good mood as we wait for Captain Marvel to come in March, and then next year's big conclusion. Just that film Oh.